he looked like somebody who didn't belong on the debate stage. Depending on your perspective, it was either sort of infuriating because it was clear, I think it was clear before the debate, but it was clear for everybody to see last night that the kinds of things that the American public had seen glimpses of over the past, not just the past couple months, but the past couple years, that Joe Biden was not fit to have this discussion, were things that his campaign had actively sought to hide from the American people. They have shortened his schedule. They didn't put him in front of they didn't have meetings in world leaders. He was doing most of his work around the middle of the day. They have done everything that they could to disguise who Joe Biden really was. And it should make people angry, and angry at those Democrats and the people around him who allowed this to happen. But beyond that, for anybody who's dealt with an aging relative or somebody who's struggling with mental acuity or dementia issues, what we saw from Biden, particularly on the split screen when he wasn't talking, was sort of heartbreakingly familiar. This was somebody with that distant, sort of empty gaze and the dark, dead eyes that suggested he just wasn't all there. And, we've talked about this a bunch here before. We took some grief for talking about this. Some people thought it was inappropriate for us to be saying the things that we were saying. And if you go back even to Jonathan Martin and Alex Burns' book, which I think was published in the spring of 2022, as I recall, they had extensive reporting about Democrats who had worked with and dealt with Joe Biden on a regular basis and said he was not up to this. That's a year and a half ago. It's absolutely outrageous that we're at this point, particularly when the other candidate is Donald Trump, where we have somebody like Joe Biden at this point in his career.
And the fact that people were celebrating, the fact that the president could stand upright and read aloud for 90 minutes was not a sign that everything was okay. It was a sign that something was drastically wrong, that was the hurdle he had to clear. And I think that I didn't see even Republicans, people, I mean, there was a little like victory lap taking, whatever. Mostly people were just sad. I was just sad. I was not like, yay, I've been triumphantly vindicated. It was heartbreaking to watch. And then I think the next thing was that, like you, Steve, I was angry, right? Because this has been visible for a while, and people around him obviously know that this is the case, right? Again, if you have dealt with an aging parent or grandparent, you can be in a certain amount of denial. Families will put off decisions like taking away dad's car keys longer than they should. But like, you know what's there. They knew. And not only did they lie to their fellow party members so that they could not talk about replacing him, they lied to the public. And then they put him up on that stage. What did they think was going to happen? Were they hoping that maybe he would have an amazing day? It was obvious. Like, I just think looking at his performance elsewhere, I knew this going in. And the funny thing was that at the back of my mind, I only realized this while I was in the middle of watching. So at the back of my mind, I had like, I must be wrong, because it's obviously crazy to put someone who looks like what I think Joe Biden looks like on the debate stage. So I guess maybe he can pull this out. And then he couldn't. And I don't understand how that happened. It was, there was no way that it was not going to be sad and hurtful to ask him to step aside.